How does it look?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wild Chats, your place for everything animals. We're doing a little fashion check. Apparently, okay, my collar is what you were trying to reference. So you guys are getting a little before show, little bonus. We do the after show bonuses for the Patreon people, but we don't do before show bonuses.
This is awesome.
But welcome to Wild Chats, your home for everything animals. I am Ryan. That is Maria. Maria, I know you're a pretty good singer. You guys may someday get a chance to hear her sing. I don't know how that's going to work in, but hey, who knows?
Maybe I'll sing here and there as I'm talking about something. Like
right.
I've done that. Like just here and there, I may
just randomly being lyrical. Okay. But outside of music and singing, when you were younger or as you grew, do you have any other artistic talents?
Dancing,
okay. Anything in like the drawing, painting, sculpting, anything like?
I have a story.
Okay.
Quick story. So when I was a kid, I think I was in 5th grade, and we had to do like the teacher gave us a little card, like a greeting card, and my job was to paint whatever was in the greeting card, and my greeting card had a bird.
Okay.
I spent the whole afternoon drawing the bird, and it turned out beautiful. Of course, my opinion, 5th grade or whatever.
Okay.
But it turned out beautiful. Okay. So when I go to turn the assignment in, a few hours later, the teacher calls me into a different room and asks me to draw it again. I took it as she loved it so much, she wants to see me doing it.
Okay.
I didn't realize she thought I was cheating.
Okay.
So
how do you cheat drawing? When you like get the kid next to you to draw it for you? What?
No, maybe because we took it home. Maybe somebody did it for me.
Oh, you took it. Okay, I thought you were doing it. Okay, I thought you were in class. I'm like, how do you? Like, it's not like you can look at someone else's paper and write down the answer.
A for a feather. A for a feather. No, that was very funny because as a child, I thought she truly enjoyed my art and she wanted me to show her how I did it.
Okay.
I'm so glad I didn't think that she thought I was cheating. Like, I'm seriously glad that I was so innocent.
As a kid, you would hope that that's the thought process. But at the same time, like, I guess as a teacher, you want to make sure the kids are doing what they're supposed to do. But at the same time, there's a little loss of innocence factor there. If you're like, I just got called out for cheating. People don't trust me. Human beings are evil. I mean, that could have gone bad.
I didn't. Thank God I never went that far. Like, my thought process was like, everybody's nice. I have no issues with anything. I was a very normal, average wild child. So.
All right. So today's podcast, what I wanted to do was I started coming across some really cool summer animals doing art and summer art of animals.
Okay, so love it.
It's a little bit of both. I found some like really visually amazing videos that I just thought were incredible. You and I kind of know just enough about editing to kind of get a job done. Like, there's certain, you kind of learn just what you need to know in order to do what you're doing.
Exactly.
So I can't even begin to like think of the elements and aspects that went into creating some of these things. But to me, just absolutely visually amazing. And I wanted to share them with everybody. And we can have some general fun animal conversations about them too. But this was the first one that kind of was the impetus for the show. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Catalyst, that the inspiration for the show was basically that's the word I was looking for. But I came across this and just thought it was amazing. I have no idea. I guess I'm assuming they took like an ocean shot of the whales, because their movements are natural. I don't think somebody created the whales. I'm assuming they took an ocean shot of the whale.
I want to see that again. Let's see the fluidity of a movement.
Yeah, cut him out of the background and then just added like portals and stuff.
I don't know, but that's incredible, that portal. You can see at the beginning
but the smoke is even coming off of the whale as it swims through the portal. Now, to somebody else, this might be like, oh yeah, that's from this video game, or oh, that's clearly this. If you guys know where this is from, go ahead and write it in the description or in the comments. Sorry, but just to me, I was like, wow, and then I was trying to figure out what kind of whale that is, and I realized as often as we had done videos about whales in the past, I can't differentiate one whale from another. I'm like, well, maybe it's
that a humpback.
I think that's what was going to be my guess was humpback.
Yeah, it's a humpback.
But like the bower whales or whatever have like a different neck, and then like
yes,
blue whales have like more texture and stuff around like their mouths and stuff and their heads. But that was going to be
I'm gonna go with the basic humpback whale that you find in Hawaii around April, and they also travel like through Dominican Republic. You may find them every once in a while, but they're trying to breed their calves in Hawaii in around April. So if you want to go to Hawaii and see the whales, part of the rule is you have to stay about 100 feet away from them.
Okay.
Of course, to respect them.
Yeah, I don't. I know also their path takes them all the way down the coast. So there's a time of year you can catch them in Hawaii, and there's a different time of year you can catch them like off Costa Rica, and then there's a Colombia time, and they go all the way down to Chile.
Colombia, I think, is October.
Yeah,
on the Pacific side of the country, October is usually the time you'll find the whales, and I've always wanted to do that. I haven't had a chance, so hopefully that could be one of our goals when we get a lot of subscribers and followers, perhaps in Patreon. We can do it as a goal that we'll just go to film the whales.
Yeah, we're trying to, if you guys have some ideas too, that'll be fun. So we came across another a Patreon that was actually kind of doing like, as they got 500 subscribers, they would do this special thing. So Maria and I were trying to come up with a list of like fun stuff we could do, but then stuff that we can record for you guys. So that way, like we can go to a zoo and maybe record a live episode, or so
have an experience, have an encounter, so that we can be together. You can see us interacting, but also you can see what we're seeing, and you can be part of it, and that will be so exciting. So that'll be a fun choice. We can when we get there, we'll start deciding.
Yeah, I wanted to do African safari or something, but I think it'll be fun too, because I want the people to be able to like submit suggestions, and then we can do polls and stuff, so they can kind of like, if we did the African safari, maybe people that have done it have ideas, but there's stuff that they want to see us go check out and things like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Like it's less about like a vacation for us and more about what do you guys want to see us go do within this environment? Because the point isn't really to reward us for the subscribers. It's to kind of reward the community and then have like a specialty video. So that'll be fun.
So now we're starting to dream big, and I love it. As big as those whales.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Because I was messaging somebody the other day, and they had been to the Colosseum in Rome, and that's on my like to-do list. And I was trying to think of like, because I was starting to type, it's at the top of my near the top of my to-do list. I'm like, what else is on my list like ahead of that? And I realized that I really want to go see the Northern Lights. That's like one of the biggies that I want to go check out. And then in South America, I never really got a chance to tour all of South America. But if you go to the Atacama Desert, where it like doesn't rain at all, the sky is so clear, the amount of stars and stuff you can see, it almost just looks fake in videos and photos that I've seen.
Love that.
Not great for animal stuff, because there's not a ton of animals that can survive in those kind of climates.
Well, you have the snakes and the spiders and the lizards, but those are, and maybe the gerbils.
The gerbils? Oh yeah, they got the desert. Like most people don't realize this, but hamsters, like the common hamster, all of the pet hamsters we have in the United States are like derived from like one mother hamster. Like it's a Syrian hamster that got brought over, and they all spun out of like that one hamster.
It's like the Haas avocados. Like the Haas avocados was a guy whose last name was Haas. I think he was a male person, and they couldn't identify the variety of this particular avocado, but it was just so perfect that they started cutting sprouts out of it. The tree unfortunately passed away because it was pretty old, but there you go.
Yeah, they were able to take the clippings like you do with grapes and stuff like that. So, and this will be, to me, it seems weird now, but back then I didn't know the difference. But if you're from the United States, for the most part, the only avocados you even know exist are Hass avocados.
Yes.
Once you kind of get out in the world a little bit, you realize that it's really an American and Mexico thing. Because when you get to South America and stuff, they've got like these smooth avocados, and there's like
Very
3 or 4,
large.
yeah, and there are 3 or 4 different types of them. Like I thought there was
Yes.
one, and then, but the thing about Hass avocados that make them so good is they have so much more flavor than the
Yes,
other
I agree.
avocados.
And the
It's like,
texture is creamier, and there's depthness to it. So when you make a dessert from an avocado, there is a depthness to it, which sounds bizarre because you'll think, oh, you don't want any flavor. But this is one of those pleasant flavors. And if you let it ripen a little past its prime, then it tastes like flowers. And to me, it's just so fascinating.
Okay, I'm the other way. I think it tastes like
Mhm.
flowers when it's not ripe enough. That's
Isn't
when
that
it's still a
amazing?
little chunk, because I like mine like mushy almost, like about to make
Okay.
guacamole. That's how I do my avocados usually. So, but then there's such a small window of like when. But
Please don't
all
squeeze
right.
the avocados, guys. This is not PSA. PSA. Now that is my new word
Okay.
abbreviation.
Okay.
Don't
Well,
squeeze
since
avocados.
we gotta tie, yeah. But we do need to tie back into animals here. But do you know how avocados even still exist?
Yes, thanks to the megafauna.
Yes, the mega sloth, almost basically.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell the story.
No, you tell it. I was just not excited because of megafauna.
So back in prehistoric times, basically there was these gigantic sloths, and they're assuming that this is the animal that they're attributing it to, but just because of its migratory patterns and what it ate these things obviously, and then got rid of these things because it would just eat them whole. But you have these, you can't. No animal today can spread the seed of an avocado. It's gigantic. A bird's not going to pick it up. Like there's not an animal that eats fruit that can spread that seed around.
Yeah,
which is
that will
again why
swallow it
Maria.
and spread it.
Yeah, someone had to do the clippings and grow the trees. Like humans had to take over. But the only reason they still exist is just because of these mega sloths that used to eat them. And as they would trek along, they would get rid of the seeds. And that's basically how avocados spread to still be around today. So basically an avocado and an alligator have not only the same textured skin, but are almost about as old as one another, possibly. So,
and they used to call them avocados used to be called crocodile pear, wasn't it?
Yeah,
in
it was
UK?
crocodile. Yeah, they're the same texture, so that makes sense. Now I never put those two. So my brain is really weird. I could come up with a lot of stuff off the top of my head and just randomly riff on things, but then my brain doesn't connect certain individual pieces of information. Like Angels Field used to be called Edison Field, and then there was the Edison Power Company, and then companies advertise. I mean, it just seems like the simplest connection in the world, but I just remember one day my brain finally put those two pieces together, and you're just like, I am the biggest idiot on the planet. How did I not think of
I think
this?
it happens to everyone.
Yeah, but it just.
But speaking of association and things like that, with the avocado, it used to be known as the alligator pear or crocodile pear. I don't remember which of the crocodilian species, but they had to change the name because people were using avocados for baking, like making pies, like you make things with pears.
Okay.
And people were buying them and actually being completely disappointed that it wasn't a pear. So they had to change the name to something, and they use one of them. I think it's the Mexican word for a male.
Okay, we'll skip that. Maria doesn't want to say it, and that'll say enough of it. Okay, and so they use that word, and
I know it's nothing wrong with it, like saying elbow, but again, just in case.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't.
And then they turn red. But anyway, going back to whales, if you ever go to Alaska, go in July because you will see the whales there, and you'll get to see the northern lights too. So you get 2 for 2 there.
Yeah, and then it's warm, so that's always the catch is you want to be warm. And I've never lived in even northern parts of the state. I know you spent a good amount of time in the northern parts of the U.S., and I know that there are times that the northern lights come down. Have you ever seen them?
Yes, I've seen it on Lake Michigan. Like you could go and see it on Lake Michigan. Muskegon is the furthest south lake where you can see them. But it's not like you see in the movies where you see the greens and
Well,
It's
it's
nothing
because
that's majestic.
you're at the tail end of it, though. That's the thing. If you go more north, you see a lot more of the show. You're just getting, yeah.
Yes, a glimpse of it. And it is still so beautiful because it's just so magical to see the sprinkling of like dusty lights
Mm-hmm.
crossing the night sky. And you
I
only get to see that if
saw.
you're sailing in the middle of the lake, is
Uh-huh.
where we got to see it
Oh,
at
very
night.
nice. Very
Hmm.
nice. I've seen a photo of it from space, which is really cool. You're seeing the reverse view of it with the actual particles of the sun hitting the atmosphere from the reverse side of the ozone layer. It is really, really cool. Like,
I bet it's fascinating.
it's like seeing
Absolutely fascinating.
yeah, it'd be like seeing a rainbow as a circle or something. You don't get to see that
Mhm.
reverse.
I love
I
it.
didn't get a chance to read the article, but I guess like a couple days ago there was a lightning strike, but it went the other way. So it actually the lightning almost touched space, because when it went off, it went from the clouds, but it went up instead of down. And I didn't
I
get a
wonder
chance
how it would do that.
I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read the article on the science and stuff on it, but I was like, oh yeah, just those little things you don't think about. It's like lightning goes down. Oh wait, yeah, lightning's not supposed to go up. Just seeing that reverse of it.
Yeah, I would love to do a little bit more research on the polarity of what will cause, because when you think of like Nikolai Tesla and his machines and stuff like that, there has to be an origin where it expands, and there has to be a polarity to generate that wave of electricity to go from one side to the next. It makes you wonder what's
But with
going on with
everything
the.
that's in orbit, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just attracted to a gigantic satellite or something like that, and it just so
Good
happened.
point. Good
Yeah,
point.
I don't know. So back to a little bit more animal-esque. So I just thought that art was pretty cool, and then as I came across, when you start looking for something, you get to start like, the internet's pretty good about giving you suggestions that are close to what it is that you were looking for. So kind of in the same vein, in the same kind of search, I came across this, and it's one of those questions of like, since we're on the science kick for some reason on this episode, like if a fly is flying, but then the fly is inside of a train going 100 miles an hour, how fast is the fly actually going? If he's flying 1 mile an hour, but he's in a high-speed train going, there's that relativistic speed concept. And I just never thought of being on a boat. Maybe this is a boat in Lake Michigan. Maybe this is the lake you were hanging out on. Do they have ducks there? Do they have ducks? Ducks were on this lake you're
Yes,
talking about?
a lot of mallards, Canada
Okay.
geese. Oh yeah.
Okay. How fun would this be, though? You're trucking along on your boats, and there's just a duck literally going as fast as your boat is going forward, and he's gonna park it on your hand a little bit.
It makes me wonder if they feel that they're a flock, because no bird
Ooh.
in their rational mind will do that. Now I see a lot of sand dunes. Makes you wonder where they're at.
Yeah, but I just never thought about it. Like, you could be skydiving and basically going, I saw another clip like that, and like the bird is going as fast as the skydiver, and then the bird lands like on the glider itself. So you see all these really interesting kind of pairings that you just wouldn't think about. I don't know. I came across, I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. Mm-hmm.
But I hadn't thought about that, exactly what you're talking about, if they're part of the flock. I know the birds.
Because an animal will not allow you to touch them, and I think they're geese.
Yeah.
Based on their necks and a little bit of the neck. Not an expert on geese by no means, but it is fascinating to like realize, just a little bit of length of a neck makes the difference between the size too, between geese, ducks, and the other species of geese that are around, that are barnacle something, and there's
the
just so
barnacle
many,
goose.
many.
But that's a goose too. Yeah, I don't. I think that's fun. I don't know the difference on a lot of these things. Like we were talking, was it last episode or 2 episodes ago, about butterflies and moths?
Yes.
And the easiest main difference is just butterflies come out during the day and moths come out at night. But again, it just depends where you're from and what your perspectives are and stuff. But coming back to the artist, Some people, so I myself have always said I could not draw a stick figure to save my life. If somebody was like, it's life or draw a stick figure, I'd probably forget the neck. Like my artistic ability.
Yeah, like this guy, he clearly forgot the neck. Clearly.
Yeah. So this chalk drawing of a polar bear on the street is just absolutely amazing to me.
Beautiful.
But at first I thought he was really, really talented. I was like, okay, this guy can draw. Like he really knows what he's doing. And then as I started watching the video a little bit more, I started thinking to myself, or he's a witch. It's a possibility that he's not a good artist. It's actually just witchcraft because as he's going along, somebody decides here to take a photo of his art. And I don't know if he's showing off with his powers or what he's doing, but all of a sudden.
No wonder you kept stopping the video. And I'm like, why is he stopping the video? Why does he keep stopping the video? I want to see the entire thing.
How cool is that, though? I have no idea. Like, you see all of like the TikToks and everything where, you know, people like clap or they cover the camera and you change outfits and stuff like that. I was trying to break down this video and there's never a point where the drawing's completely covered. So
but it wasn't covered. I think what happened here is there perhaps not an expert, and again, no forensic video.
Back to Maria's forensic video breakdown. Okay, here we go.
If you look right around here, no.
That's going to be my next question. Where did this become a real bear?
Well, you can actually see right there how there is a line.
And it's a different bear. It's a different drawing because it's more 3D than his original drawing.
Yes, and you can tell that all of a sudden they start becoming.
It's a fade right there, I think, because now the front doesn't have the curve.
Because you can still see part of the bear in the back where the line is still there, where they're generating the image. And I think what they did, not expert here, but the way I would do it if I were to do this. If I would have been smart and actually study not theater, but like communication, stuff like that, even though I studied biology out of pure pleasure, I would have started with the image of the reaction without the bear being painted. So you start from like they do it without the bear being painted, and then they know where the bear is at, and then do the drawing.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out, so clearly this is a different texture type of drawing. Like this is very flat. It's a 3D drawing, but it's pretty much 2D.
It's 2D.
There you can really see the curb. I keep looking at the curb. That's the differentiator for me. Is that curb really is noticeable?
Exactly.
Now, as you come here and she goes to squat down and your head's kind of focused on something else, once his shoulder gets out of the way, it almost feels like he drew a different kind of drawing because you could still see the curb. But then I think what they did was they used a wipe, like when you change frames, how like one thing overtakes another thing is kind of how it looks to me because it ends up the drawing and then it's a wipe. Because if you look at the curb, you see the curb slowly start to disappear more and more going to the right.
I see totally exactly.
Boom, it just wiped and then disappeared.
The people is the one that keeps the constant in the movement. Like you can see people walking, which leads me to believe the video was done first.
Yeah.
And then the animal. And also remember, they could green screen things. They can pop it out.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought this was the magic of art. Oh. And when you talk of cinema, we've been watching the movies that made us. And it's just so much fun. When they were talking about Jurassic Park, how they had to come up with these animatronics that they were not thought of before. And then they started using computer animation. And that was the beginning of something incredible when it comes to the usage of animals and especially extinct animals.
Yeah,
you can tell he's actually not drawing. Like he's actually not drawing.
Well, he's acting
right there,
more
the bear.
Yeah. He's doing my version of drawing. Just fake it. Fake it. Well,
yes,
yeah,
he completely is. I mean, he does
I'm gonna
a great job, and it is an absolutely beautiful video. But he, like, if you really look at him drawing, he's not really drawing.
It's like, I'm gonna squat down next to some really good art and I pretend like I'm finishing up. That would be my like sand castle at the beach. I would just be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pack this. There we go. Look at that guy.
Hey, that's what the beauty of using editing programs is. They will help you come up with things that are literally popping out of the screen, like they were real, like that way you can like them and do things with and add animation.
Mm-hmm.
You see
So
what I
on
did there?
the movies that made us, don't watch the third. I think the third season is the last season. Just skip it. Just don't.
Why?
It's not very good. It's mostly like crappy horror films, or it's like films that just weren't really that impactful to begin with. Most of them are kind of crappy horror films. There's not that much story behind them. I
don't know. I mean, I think I don't like horror movies. We talked about that, but they talk about I forgot again, Elm Street.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, they had that one, and then they had 2 other horror movies, and I didn't want to watch those, but they have some pretty good ones.
The first 2 seasons I thought were amazing of that series, but the third season I was like, yeah.
I agree. But it is so fun when you have a chance to enter the mind of a creator and a writer,
for sure,
and a designer, and how the serendipity for things to come together into place so that magic could happen. It's just, to me, that is the most fascinating part of creating something is the magic of the art of creating an imagination, which leads very well with our conversation today of artistic renditions of critters.
Yeah. And I thought it was only fair if we were going to talk about art on an animal channel that we actually got to give a little love to some animal artists. I feel like that's only fair.
Oh,
look at this guy. No, but so this clip's a little bit long, everybody, but you just have to watch the whole thing. It just gets more and more impressive as you go along. Because it's like, he's drawing an elephant. That's cute. And then, but like, he starts to get some detail going, and like, it's really impressive.
I'm impressed already. I couldn't even draw that good. And that's an Asian elephant.
Yeah,
he looks pretty young.
Orange hair.
Yeah, look how cute it is.
They're the tiny elephants of the elephant clan. See, this is
the
thing.
Unless you talk about the Java elephants,
like the pygmy Java elephants. Okay, of the full-size elephants, we won't consider the pygmy Javas. See, this was the thing that I couldn't get. I remember in art class, we had to do like a 3D drawing, and the teacher was trying to teach us how to do. So we had to do like a streetscape that kind of faded away from you. And I remember her showing us how to do it, and I actually got it, and I drew it. I just remember like that was the high point of my artistic like ability. I was like, I just drew in 3D. This is amazing. And then I remember thinking, like, if I ever really wanted to tackle this, I think some people, as with most talent, some people innately just know how to do it and can see it. But drawing, it can be learned. Like, you can learn the technique.
It definitely can be learned.
Like that. And but yeah, I just thought that this guy was just so, and not even being sarcastic, I could not do this. Like, if I literally
like the front leg, the way he moved the paw, like you almost feel the muscle movement of the animal.
But I like how he gives so much like thicker lines for the top and the bottom, because he kind of knows that's where his skin is thick, basically, and he's drawing himself of his own perception. And then I think that's the other cool part is like, artists kind of depict themselves in art, and look at the pose that he picks. Trunks up in the air. Like, that's a really happy elephant that he's drawing.
That is a very happy elephant. That's a very nice observation of the trunk up as in joy, and that is beautiful.
He even adds the little eye that just adds that extra little, I don't know. I just look at the tail. Like, the tail even has a little split for like the fur at the
How adorable is that? Like, I can't believe. And I think there is actually a lot of animals who will sell their art. And I just think it's incredible that the owners are so dedicated to teach the animals how to do it. And hopefully the animal enjoys it too, because, you want to make sure the animal enjoys the renditions.
Yeah, I mean, elephants as a pet would be tough. That clearly is probably at some kind of reserve or something. But I guess at some point in time, there must have been a lot of elephant pets around the United States, because I started poking around some of my fact word document that I love going through for some of my stuff, and I was really surprised how many elephant laws there were in the United States. I'm thinking to myself, like, there's a lot of laws on the books that are old that don't get used anymore. But then you start thinking about, like, sometimes you hear about laws that you're like, wait, why do you have a law against this animal can't do this thing? And it's like, that animal only exists in Africa. Like, it doesn't even
You
exist.
cannot ride an elephant in Wisconsin. I'm making it up. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, here's some fun ones then. So here's some, because you're in Florida, you want to make sure the next time you're hanging out with your pet elephant, do not tether it to a parking meter, because the elephant by law is charged the same as a vehicle. So you better make sure if you leave your elephant, you put some coins in the machine. Or now, I don't know if they just stick the ticket in his mouth and hope he doesn't eat it, or just put it behind his ear. I don't know where the cop puts the parking.
I think it came after, because it used to be just coins. So going back to the age of that law, it probably was when you still put coins or paid somebody.
Yes, no, what I'm saying is, okay, so you're thinking of the ticket.
Pachyderm parking. Pachyderm parking. We talked about this last time. I don't remember one video, but I think it's animals causing havoc. And we're talking about pachyderm parking.
Yes.
So here it comes back again.
But here's the thing. Okay, you're talking about the ticket you get when you park your car. I'm talking about the ticket the cop has to write you if you've overstayed the meter.
Okay.
What do you just put it in the elephant's mouth? You imagine a cop writing a parking ticket and be like, "Hey, Dumbo, I want to put this behind your ear. Hang on to that till your owner gets back. All right, make sure you get that.
Don't flap your ears to cool down. Don't flap your ears to cool down."
Oh, there goes the ticket.
Oops.
Oh.
Make sure you don't have a license plate on your elephant so they don't know how to track you.
Right. There's another good question. The 5'7" elephant with the large spot on his behind. This was the elephant. I took the spot as his license plate. That's it. We got dot dash mole spot funny hair. Okay, that is
You know what's interesting also? I wonder if that law was created because the Ringling Brothers were really big into the circus. The Ringling Brothers were literally older animals and all their tents and all this stuff. Even if you go to their mansion, everything is around here. I mean, in Florida. And I wonder if that law was created because several times something happened with somebody, one of those people riding their pachyderm around, they need to exercise too. So if you're going to take a horse out, why not take your pet lion and your pet pachyderm?
Just make sure you're up on all of the pet lion laws on your given state, city, and territory.
Yes,
you want to make sure you don't feed your pet lion or tiger past 7 o'clock on the Sabbath or something. I'm sure there's some.
There's some weird laws. It's just hilarious.
But I think you do know the answer to this, but I think a lot of people just think it's cute when they see elephants kind of rolling around in the mud and stuff, but you know the purpose of that, right?
Well, there are a couple of reasons why elephants and other animals do it, including pigs. They do it not only for the nutritional value of some of the clay.
Okay.
They may get some of the minerals, but also it's a good sunblock.
Okay.
And as it dries out, it removes dead skin, potential parasites, and it really is a great way to exfoliate and maintain their skin in perfect condition. Just like we do face masks with clay, they do it to detoxify as well. It's just, It's actually a really good thing that animals do that, because with pigs, they don't have sweat glands. So pigs actually do need to get in pig pens and really roll around dirt. So it's not because they're being dirty, they're actually being clean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I realized right after I asked you that question that basically you had an unfair advantage, because I realized as soon as I asked it that the elephant fact video, if you guys want to talk about editing, if you guys want to have some fun, the first video Maria ever edited as she was learning to edit on YouTube is a channel called Undiscovered Worlds. And you go to the very first video, and it is an elephant facts video. This was Maria's learning how to video edit. So all of this video forensic fun stuff that she does when she's trying to break down, the video got reversed, and then it got played fast forward, and that's how the dog got on the duck. That was like 1 or 2 episodes ago that we were joking about. I think it was 2 episodes ago. And then breaking down that polar bear, and all of these skills stem from that very beginning of Maria doing this elephant fact video on the YouTube channel. And I forgot until right after I asked it that you basically already have this book of elephant knowledge thanks to that video.
I wish I had the memory of an elephant, but the video focused more on the behavior of elephants. I remember taking a psychology class when I was doing my undergrad, and it was psychology 101. And the teacher wanted us to deal with whatever psychological issue. And I said, look, I'm not going to be a psychologist, but I do want to study animal behavior and biology. That's what I find passion. So I actually did my paper on the psychology of grief of elephants. And the whole thing was like, it looked like a paper, like it had the long title and everything. And it was fascinating. The more I researched, the more I realized that animals are just so incredible, and elephants are even more so, as they communicate through stomping and frequencies, as they talk in ways that we cannot hear. They have better cell phone signal than we do because of the way in which they talk to one another.
Yeah. No, their communication is amazing. There was we were talking again in that episode a couple of days ago where the baby elephants and how they don't really know how to walk very well, and they don't know how to use their trunks, and they trip over it. Some of the stuff that he didn't talk about in that was how they communicate, and they learn how to use their trunks and their calls, and the way that the whole pack, they really are amazing animals. Most people want to like swim with dolphins and stuff. One of these days, if I get an opportunity, and I have a video that's coming up in the future, and another video we're going to do, but I want to swim with an elephant.
That would be so fascinating.
That is on one of my lists of things to do. I saw a video of it. It was just absolutely gorgeous, and it was taken from underwater. So you're seeing the up angle and there's a guy swimming next to it. So you get like that size comparison. And it was just absolutely gorgeous watching this.
And they're amazing swimmers. Those guys are people are like, oh my gosh, we saw an elephant and we want to save it. Just let it be, because they can swim beautifully. They can rest and just stick their trunk out. They can swim longer and faster than anyone else. So just next time, if you ever encounter an elephant in the Pacific or Atlantic, just let it be.
See, that makes me think of one of my favorite photos of the Loch Ness Monster, where there's. We'll post this on all the. I'm going to start calling them social posts. So from now on, I'm going to just say we'll put this in the social post. So guys, what we're doing is kind of at the end of the shows, we kind of get together and what did we talk about that we couldn't show? I try to get things ready for you guys, but I can't get everything ready. So photos, weird questions,
we're going to talk about
conversations. We're going to post all that stuff after every show. It'll be on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. There's a free section of Patreon we're using. You guys don't have to sign up for anything. You can just go there. We're trying to build the community. But in the community posts, we need to put that photo, because it's basically an elephant underwater, and at the top of his trunk is the face of the Loch Ness Monster. And basically the joke is Loch Ness Monster is just an elephant that was walking on the bottom with this trunk above, just getting some air, and somebody mistook it for.
So especially in Northern Europe when it's really, really cold, yes, they'll have a
Yeah, I don't think Scotland has too many elephants either, but it's probably more likely that it's an elephant. Not that I think that's what the Loch Ness Monster is, but it's just some artist drew this, and it just always makes me laugh every time I see it.
Going back to cryptids.
No, we spent the last 2 episodes on cryptids. We're not doing cryptids. We're doing elephants that just happen to run into Loch Ness Monster. That's it. No more cryptids.
This is hilarious because this is the third time in a row that we
No,
go
it's
back
not.
to
We're talking about elephants, Maria. I don't know what you're talking about in the cryptid conversation. This is about
we
elephants.
don't talk about
No.
Loch Ness monsters.
Elephants.
Anyway, painting.
So that was the thing. As I was kind of doing research for the video, it seems like most of the animal artists are painters. Like you name the animal and there is a painter. Like there was whale painters and seal painters and elephants and dogs and everything. But in searching for some more, I love painting, but I'm just jealous. So I wanted some other topics of stuff maybe I could do that animals can do.
Instead of you're smarter than a fifth grader, you're like, I am better painter than a dog.
Yeah, no, it's I can't paint better than an animal, so I got to find other animal arts. Basically, is what it came down to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it because I don't want to miss anything. I thought this was kind of interesting. Basically, they rigged a camera to a dog's heartbeat. And every time he got excited, the camera took a photo. Okay. So if a dog got kind of hyped up and usually you see the dog and his tail starts wagging and stuff, anytime that I don't know if they put like something on him for his heartbeat, obviously, or a strap or something. But every time, basically, it was an experiment that Nikon did. And let's see, the camera was strapped to, the dog's name was Grizzler. Okay. Grizzler's chest and had a sensor that monitored the dog's heart rate. When Grizzler got excited by something he was seeing, his heart rate would inevitably rise. And whenever it did above 119 beats per minute, I don't know what the average heartbeat is for a dog, so I don't know how
definitely not 119. It had to be.
No, clearly not. But if it's like 100, if it's like 90, it's like he was mildly excited and it just took a photo of everything. He was like, "Ooh, chocolate!
I don't think
ooh,
so.
treat."
Probably 119 is like you got excited.
Okay. And then basically if it went above that level, the camera that was strapped to his chest would take a photo. So I thought that was
probably a
cool.
cat or a bird, the owners.
I don't know. You think, okay, owner coming home or something, like I haven't seen owner in a while. Yeah. That would be
definitely
interesting.
A treat.
I would like to see what like an average dog's heartbeat is and then kind of see what that range is and then try to think about what things would actually get him to that level. So say the base dog heartbeat is like 60. He'd have to get pretty excited.
I don't think so. It'll have to be more than that.
Okay.
Now we exercise 100.
I have to look it up now. Now I want to know.
Do it. Find out. Because
I am.
Would be a good heartbeat for working out anyway.
Average dog.
Like if you're working out and it's 120, you're a good pace.
Small dogs and puppies. Okay, so this isn't good. Small dogs and puppies, but he wasn't small. He was like middle-sized. So small dogs and puppies, normal heart rate is 120 to 160 for small ones. So Peep's little murmury, fluttery, enlarged heart is going 120 to 160. Dogs over 30 pounds have heart rates of 60 to 120.
You guessed it. Well, you said
the larger the dog, the slower the heart rate normally.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
It's still not that so middle of the range would be 90. So how excited, what would he be taking photos of? I could see his favorite tree being enough to get him from 90 to 120.
Well, it depends also on the animal because some, if it's a puppy, they're more excitable. And no, hold on. They already measured 120. So it must have been a middle, larger sized dog.
It was like a collie.
It was a border collie?
I think so. I saw a photo and I think it was a border collie.
So if he's a border collie, then depends if where they live. Then if he's a herder dog, which is what their jobs are meant to be, maybe herding when they're working, they like jobs. I mean, animals need to have a purpose in life, and especially dogs. And that's one of the issues most people have with their dogs. Their dog is misbehaving. Well, honey, the dog is bored. So if he's eating your shoe, it's because he's just bored. So
I've never had a collie. Are collies calm dogs? I've never had one. Haven't known someone that had. Are they pretty relaxed dogs? Or are they high-strung dogs?
No, they are not. They require exercise. They require an alpha type of personality
Okay.
to keep them organized and like in shape, because they're animals that are little. They like to have everybody together, so they
Okay.
actually get stressed out if it's a family dog and the one of the parents is somewhere and the children are somewhere else. They get actually stressed out. They like to make sure everybody's together. They can
Okay.
see. They're a little bit of on the excitable side of a dog, but if you keep them working out, like take them for runs and have them do a job, then they're really good. But
So
they're
now,
not an elderly person kind of dog. So
now I'm a little bit curious about. So you remember one of our earlier videos where we had the animals doing human jobs?
yes.
And I want to remember. I don't remember if this guy was a collie. Now I'm kind of curious. Let's see.
Which one? Oh, you're talking about the cattle.
Yeah.
I think that was a collie.
No, not the cattle. Oh, the stream's been having. So it was the one where the dog was herding the sheep, and then he ran on the backs of the sheep.
I thought it was a border collie or a shepherd.
I think so. That's what I was trying to look up to see if it was a collie, but unfortunately the video is not playing for some reason.
I cannot remember. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just because it's herding.
Pull it up.
But the dog was so calm. Like he ran on the backs of the sheep, but then he kind of calmly came down the side and then pinched them all in and kind of led them up the ramp. So, guys, unfortunately, if you want to see the clip, which was it's actually really cool, you'll have to go check out the animals doing human jobs video, because for some reason the video won't play here.
Yeah, but it is a beautiful little clip, and it is fascinating how when a well-trained animal is doing its job, they can do a beautifully done job, and they can different whistles get them to move left or right, and they actually have amazing competitions of animal herding animals.
Okay.
And it's just very fun.
So when you think of animals and art, just in general, what animal kind of pops into your mind first?
Well, I've seen a lot of dogs, which I'm not saying they're going to be the best artists. You will think a chimpanzee will do a better job.
Okay.
But the beluga whales are the ones that intrigue me the most, and dolphins are the ones who intrigue me the most, just because I cannot imagine them trying to hold their bodies to grab an instrument to be able to do their paintings and things like that.
Okay, so that's actually pieces of art, but like if before we started the video, I just kind of said, in nature in general, who do you think the most artistic animal is?
Ooh, spiders.
Okay, spider webs and such.
Yes, because it's not just only the design of the spider web. In fact, there's some spider webs, some spiders, I don't remember where, that their art is so intrinsic, so beautiful, so nicely done, that people have actually grabbed the spider web and used it as part of art because it's that beautiful. But it's not just the weaving, it's also each string has a frequency. So when an insect lands, then it produces a particular sound. So the spider knows. They're constantly fixing it. Spider webs are so strong. It's just they use it now for like if there's a cut or something, they're now starting to do research on using it as dressing a wound. Or if you're stuck in the jungle. Pardon?
They used spider webs back in Rome as actual like binding.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're ever caught in the wilderness and you get caught, if you ever get caught in the wilderness and get caught, then you can use a spider web, because the chances of allergy and stuff like that, it's gonna be minimal, and it will dress it up very nicely.
Yeah. Have you seen like the ocean floor? I forget which animal does it, but like they make the designs in the sand on the ocean floor.
Oh, it's a kind of fish.
Yeah. Okay. It's a fish. I couldn't quite remember what it was, but they have I've seen people do it with like colored sand, and they do the art with the stick and stuff. And that's kind of what it reminded me of when I think of like the fish and they make the patterns and stuff.
Yes, they do. I couldn't remember
a mating thing?
It's a mating thing.
Okay.
It's usually most of the time an animal who will invest that much on designing something, it has to have a purpose. It's either for mating or hunting.
See, but then the last one I want to talk about, actually, they found out that that's not necessarily true. Because bowerbirds are really known for like making the very ornate nests and stuff. And it's a mating thing. But they found out that there's different scenarios. Let me just read the article to you. But let's see. To impress females, the males build a display made of collections of objects they've found. Trinkets, ribbons, glass, coins, photography. Interestingly, though, there's an entirely separate building for the nest, and it's just for purely aesthetic purposes. Like what they're building isn't for mating. They found that they're two separate artistic building processes. One's for mating and one is just for themselves. They essentially make collages out of stuff they find, but they don't weave it together in a way that makes that thing that attract the women. That they actually just kind of set it about on the ground as a collage, almost more for themselves to enjoy. By their nest. So it's almost like you leave your nest and you see your nice piece of art and then you go on with your day. So they did find that they actually make art just for art's sake.
What kind of bird is this?
The bowerbirds.
Bowerbirds. I've never heard
They're
of
really
that one.
famous for like their nests and stuff that they create to attract.
Are the ones that make the dropping type of thing like nests? They're like yellow birds?
No, I just know that they're definitely the most famous for like they use every random piece of thing that's shiny and attractive to the females to get them to come into their nest, basically.
Okay. Because I know many birds use amazing structures and things like that, and many females, like the finches, they're the ones who end up making the nest. I mean, it's just fascinating how each species does their own thing. And oops, sorry, I moved the table.
Earthquake in Florida, earthquake. Oh, man. Oh, well, guys, I hope everybody had a good time. I know that Maria and I did and always do. If you guys are catching us on YouTube, please, yes, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notifications of our new episodes. And if you're catching us on a podcast, please follow us, give us the 5-star rating if you guys are catching us on Apple. And more than anything, guys, please leave us some comments. We love reading those. It gives us an idea of what you guys think. It also helps us start building a community. Like I said, we're going to start putting out the community posts for every episode of the things we talked about. So we'll have the Loch Ness Monster photo of the elephant on there. We'll try to find some of the bowerbird nests so we can put a photo of that. So you guys know what that looks like. If I can get the dog sheep herder clip to play, we'll post that there.
Well, it's in the animals doing
video, but we could throw it up too. Maybe we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think so too.
And basically the things that we talk about in the show, the random questions we ask, they'll all be kind of there, so you guys can start commenting and giving us suggestions. We know stuff, but we don't know everything. So we love hearing your guys' stories about your experiences, or maybe you had a border collie and your experience with them. That's the fun part for us, is just the building the community aspect and getting that interaction. Maria and I can talk to each other for 4 or 5 hours on the phone about any given topic. So it's more fun for us to hear other people's perspectives and their stories, and we get to learn. And that's really the fun part for us. So
yes,
please, guys, leave the comments. And again, hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you guys